Not that many of you will care. Um, but after gastric bypass, they encourage you to not drink. They really warn heavily against drinking. Before you have the surgery, I, I very belatedly remembered this from all of my pre-op classes. All the, uh, like you had to go to a class once a week. Like there was a process to getting this surgery, this gastric bypass. And at the time, um, when it came to, the part about alcohol, not using alcohol it, when you have the surgery, I kind of just went, oh, yeah, okay. Because I didn't drink at the time. Didn't seem like a big deal. Wasn't really something that I struggled with, had ever struggled with, really ever gave it much of a second thought. I never had a problem with alcohol my whole fucking life until about three, maybe this third or fourth year, um, after the surgery. I had lost all the weight. Um, I was still struggling. I still needed medical care, but um, I was starting to get the doctors and the care that I needed. Right. Um, so my husband brought home a bottle of wine and offered me a glass, which was unusual because he normally drank whiskey. Um, and so I was like, sure, yeah, I'll have a glass. And something flipped a switch in my brain. And I contend because apparently your risk of developing alcoholism goes up because of dopamine. Because of dopamine. You you have this surgery so you can't eat. So that really fucks with your brain chemistry. The reward center. Yeah, it really fucks with your brain chemistry. And it can cause all kinds of imbalances, and alcohol is a dopamine agonist. And if you can't get your dopamine from the desire to to survive, right? Because food, the search for food and the reward that you get from eating because you got the food, right? I don't have that anymore. I had a surgery to remove that. So it's I have to get my dopamine some other way. I can't get it through food. So I developed a taste for alcohol. And now I understand why you should not drink after gastric bypass because dopamine deficiency and the desire for alcohol can get a hold of you. It did me. And then a whole lot of bad shit happened, which complicated matters enormously. And I'm just now coming out of a 10-year spiral because I finally understand why it got a hold of me after so long. And I finally understand. And it was because I heard a story very similar to mine, how they had went their entire life never drinking. And they drank even less than me. They didn't drink at all. And they had the surgery, they had the weight loss surgery, and they turned into a raging alcoholic. And it suddenly hit me because dopamine, it's a dopamine deficiency. It's a reward. Like you can't use food anymore to reward yourself. You took that away. So you use alcohol to do the job that food used to do. And you can see where this might be a problem and why it's better just to avoid drinking altogether and find another way. Unfortunately, this leaves me with a nicotine addiction that I am too scared to give up because it's my last, um, like, I'm worried what will happen to my dopamine if I give up nicotine. So I'm at an impasse. So I'm working on that. I'm doing the work right now to remedy that. But yes, I need. I felt really moved to speak on this because I have struggled, and it would be disingenuous of me to pretend that I have not, or to make it less than what it is. But making this video, I hope, explains that there is actually a medical reason, like a scientific reason, why it got out of hand for me so quickly, so late in life. And why anyone who is considering this surgery, now or in the future, please learn from my story. I went from having zero taste for alcohol, zero desire, to suddenly finding it delicious because of the dopamine, the rush. Food was off the table. I had enough clothes. Shopping was boring. I needed something, right? Like, I see it now where I didn't see it then. But I definitely see it now. And that's a very good thing because it's giving me some understanding that I can use to rewire my brain and find other ways to get my fix, to get my dopamine, my reason for living. I can eat now, and I do. I have to take it easy though, but yes, I eat enough to continue living. I do my best. But I have to find other I have to find ways to make life beautiful for myself and worth living. And so I create things like this. And I wear outfits like that for fun. I want to bring whimsy and magic back into my life. That's what makes life worth living, is magic. Believing that you are magic and you can do magic. And as for me, if I'm going to do magic, then I'm going to be a good witch. Because why not? So, yeah. So please don't drink if you've had gastric bypass. Don't do that to yourself, please. Just trust me on this. So thank you for watching. Have a wonderful night.